River Ponni is the goddess. She is none other than Varahi Amman. Because the father, Sundara Cholan, and then father's father, and then father's grandfather, the Cholan's name I mentioned, Paramangata Cholan. Everybody used to be a great Shiva devotee. Shiva, Lord Shiva and Ambal used to be greatest in their palaces. Big temples were built by Sundara Cholan. That is the only thing Madhurandaka Cholan, when his father died, the heir to the throne of Tanjore will become from the hairs of Sundara Cholan and not from my hairline, not from my hairs, and therefore Madhurandaka. So right now it is picking up. I'm sorry you lost quite a bit, my dear devotees. You watch again tomorrow, you will get the whole story of Raja Cholan. Madhurandaka Cholan cannot become, he becomes a Shiva devotee, and therefore the Ponniyin Selvan, the greatest son of river Ponni, who is Raja Cholan, comes under the spell of Varahi Amman. He built 67 temples, some of which are still there in Tanjore district. I mentioned this short story because when you are seeking the footsteps of Ambal, you seek it like Raja Cholan, my friend, Raja Cholan. I will explain to you that part much later, some of you know. But then, when Ambal's Arul has to come, when Ambal's mercy, the grace has to come on you, and Shirdi Baba's grace has to come on you while seeking his foot, Raja Cholan sought it very religiously. That's the reason when Kundavai brought him all the way to Kumbakonam from the ocean, the elephant gave it to Kundavai. Kundavai is none other than Raja Cholan's elder sister. When he was Arunmodi, elder sister's name is Kundavai. They are coming to the Buddhist monastery. He thinks Buddhist monastery is heaven because he thought he died in the ocean between Sri Lanka and India, and therefore, where is Vandiyadevan? Oh, he is also in the ocean. Lots of people come and invite him. He thinks songs are there. He sees songs. He sees all damsels. He sees lots of Devadai, angels. And then he tells the monastery's chief, the Buddhist, they are all serving him because they know he is the crown prince, Arunmozhi, later on known as Raja Cholan. And he says, where am I? It's a big conversation going on. He follows the footsteps. He wanted to go to heaven and not come back to earth. That's what he tells the monastery. It's a very religious man. It is a fact that he built 67 temples show how much he sought God. Hey, if you seek God, if you seek Sadguru, you become successful. You become an uncrowned monarch, Raja Cholan. You can become Arunmozhi. You can become another sister or his daughter. Both are Kundavai. You can at least become Nandini, another big character in Ponniyin Selvan. Well, real names. Bonati, Kundavai, Nandini, they're all characters who lived 925 AD to 1000, correct me if I'm wrong, 1017 or 1025 AD. That's the time he ruled. Arunmozhi's rule is the golden age on the whole planet. Chinese liked him very much. This is pre-communist days. Coming back to the footsteps, Varahi Amman's appearance on the elephant convinced Raja Cholan that we should build temples for Ambal. He started building. He once went to Pallava dynasty and then he saw the big Yegambaranath temple in Kanjipuram. Kanjipuram was the capital of Pallavas in those days. Mahendra Pallavan had just finished his rule and he had built a lot of temples, and Raja Cholan walked because they had some connections. Pallavas were enemies and then they became friends because they could not take the might of Raja Cholan. The Chola dynasty's army, very, these people are very vulnerable. There's a very strong army of 64,000 elephants. And therefore, he saw the temple and then he came back with the idea that I should build out of stone. All these things are mortar and brick stone. I should build out of stone, and the stone was bought from 70 kilometers for the Karuvarai, for the Lingam. These books say these are all from the sculpted stones. This story has been developed from the sculpted stone for years, for 100 years. Mr. Iyengar did research in India, and then he brought the story, and then he built, not Taj Mahal, he built big temple, right? Lord Shiva's temple in Tanjore. This is how he showed. All his life he fought wars, and then he built. All his life he bought. How many hours he slept, no one knows. He spent very little time with his three wives. History says he had 21 wives. Our men are waking up. Really? It's difficult to manage one. But then if you marry three, all the three become like wives of Raja Chola, you'll be very lucky. But you won't build any temples. IT. That's a good one. All three will be the Raja Cholas, like you said, all the three should be IT wives. Preferably 149, 169, 249K. Because he is making only 89K. Anyway. Varahi Amman's influence is permanently there on the host's life. The host in that puja has Varahi Amman. And all his life, I told you, he was so attracted to Ambal temple, and therefore he used to visit in Tanjore temple. He had a very big golden. My lecture or Rajaraja Cholan's lecture? If it is Rajaraja Cholan, I'll stop and listen. I love my friend. I love my friend. He is praised today. His dam is still standing for 1000 years. Emperor Parantaka Sodan, we don't see any movie. Sundara Sodan, we don't see any movie. Only Rajaraja Cholan and perhaps Rajendra Cholan, his son, who conquered Sri Lanka. I said when you follow, you should follow like Rajaraja Chola. This devotee, for quite a long time she did a PhD at UTD. PhD in aeroscience. We will call her Indra Kaur, a Punjabi name. When she did a PhD in space science, she knew full well that the job market for a space scientist is not that bright. There is one NASA, NASA, and there is only one NASA, right? European NASA is there, some Lawrence Livermore lab, and other labs in California. Other than that, a PhD in aeroscience will be discouraged. But then she went ahead and did that. When she did that, for a long time, she didn't get a job. There is one physical characteristic that prevented Indra Kaur, Miss Kaur, from getting a very bright job. She was employed in Boulder, Colorado. When in Boulder, Colorado, she was in Miss Kaur was in touch with me. She saw several miracles done by Shirdi Baba. A postdoc, Indira Kaur, she was very fascinated. While doing PhD, she was in touch with me, but then scarcely did she find the importance of this great Sadguru. But then, Shirdi Baba always develops people on the road. He sends you on a road so that, when there is ups and downs, there are forks. He knows if you don't know, you just look for him and then he will take you. That is how he prepares you on the road. On life's road, if you depend on him, these things happen. I see that every day. And so it happened with this Canadian devotee. The Boulder job was floundering a little bit. She was doing extremely well. I got to tell you that the topic she did research was finding a code, a mathematical code which hitherto nobody has attempted, nobody in this planet, particularly in the United States or Canada. This code she was working on, if she finds the code, it'll be NASA will benefit a lot. She may even get the engineering Nobel Prize, or she may become deputy CEO of Chief Technology Officer of NASA. She was doing it. She used to tell me, Uncle, am I not being recognized because it's all full of all scientists are male. I'm the only female voice, and therefore is there a NASA? Even in NASA, is there a glass ceiling? I used to tell her, there is no ceiling, there is no glass ceiling, nothing. You work. You are a very bright person, like goddess, Durga Amma. She is a very beautiful divine person. If I show you on the screen her picture, everybody here will fall in love with everybody here. Such a beautiful person. She had some It's not some defect in her this not personality, in her characteristic, and therefore it was pulling her back. But then the research had a very top-notch quality. Once she went to a Shirdi Baba temple in India. When she went to the temple, she took a Shirdi Baba straight, looking straight in the camera to the human eye she took. In the picture, Shirdi Baba was looking up. She didn't know what to mean. She took it again. Shirdi Baba was looking up. She came to me. I said, Baba wants you to look up in your life. Baba doesn't want you to look down. Baba doesn't want you to get discouraged because your research will take you far. The road is very long. The code you are going to find out, nobody knows. Nobody has any idea of the code, the mathematical code. She was strenuously developing the code because she has not finished it. Today she found happiness, but then I'm going to. She came with a beautiful picture. And then in the process, she also developed ADD and OCD. A PhD having a minor problem, developing ADD, right? And OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. ADD, all of you know, right? You know ADD, right? Okay. Attention deficit syndrome disorder. So these two combined together, she didn't sleep well. She was working on a big code which is going to take the scientific community of NASA by the horns, which she did recently. She used to come with lots of disarray, lots of confusion in the mind. She never used to sleep, and then she went to Shirdi. In Shirdi, when she went to Shirdi, there were long lines. Fortunately, the Shirdi she went is not the Shirdi I saw 6 months ago. Because from crossing from the store, opposite store to Dwarakamayi, it took 30 minutes. So many two-wheelers, so many three-wheelers, so many four-wheelers, so many no-wheelers, human beings. Office, there are many. These no-wheelers are a big problem in India. She had come to know a person because she is very bright and she was going up the corporate ladder. She came to know two persons. Indira was confused. One is A is an American, A is an Indian, B is an American. This Indian guy had lots of problems. She created a lot of problems. She wanted perhaps her youth, not anything else, not her brilliance, not her position. And then vis-a-vis the American person in Boulder, Colorado, or somewhere in California where she was working, he was trying to help her. He was trying to maintain a distance. He was trying to be very, very kind. He was also going through a divorce. Once he got the divorce, he became close and helped Indira. Indira was very fascinated with her, and with this thoughts, she went to Brazil. Brazil was the first conference she went, and in the conference she did extremely well. All were male. This was a male-dominated conference, and then she was the only female voice. But then she contacted me. I said, "You go and act like a male, talk like a male, walk like a male, feel like a female." That's what I told her. Talk like a male. Several people who are CEOs and CFOs, who I know personally, they talk better than men. There is one Tamil serial yesterday. The CEO, a female with a sunglass, comes and says, "Who dropped that coffee?" Right? Yesterday. "Who dropped that coffee? If you don't tell me, I'm going to dismiss everybody. I'm going to fire everybody and hire you all back." It's an advertising company. She can't do without them. So, a female, I told her, "You got to do the paper very well. Read the paper. It's a very important paper. It's a postdoc paper, one of the best in the world." She did that and she received lots of encomiums. But then when she got back, the ADD and the OCD got the better of her. And then the Brazil trip was very, very famous. It proved that her work is very unique. No one has ever done that in the world. She's still living. Indira Kher is still living. Indira Kaur. She thought she was about to go up in the ladder and get some better positions, so that she was driving a rickety old car. But then that doesn't happen. The code she was working, Several men tried in the last 2 decades, and she has done so much in 1 year, that too with a physical defect. She said, but then when all these things were happening, there were lots of family issues that Indira's mother brought. In all this ups and downs, Indira's brother was living in Canada, somewhere near Vancouver, or sorry, somewhere near Toronto. They all helped. Brothers, wife, sister-in-law helped a lot, and therefore she was trying to. She lost the job in March 2012, and then she went back to Canada, leaving all the things in a small a room for which she didn't have money to pay rent. They were trying to evict all the things. They evicted the car first. So the person tried to help. The American guy was trying to help her keep the car, keep the things, trying to pay them. It's a very good soul. And she was in Canada. Mother was finding fault with her girl, her baby. She was getting older. The calendar, like a Hindi movie or a Telugu movie, it went on flapping. 8 years passed. 8 years passed, and she was trying to find out her bearings. She got several jobs, and then she used to consult with me. And she lost hope. I said, that's the last straw. Faith, Shraddha and Saburi. You just maintain faith and hold on to the last straw. You are coming to United States and settling down. There are no two opinions about it. I kept on telling, she even doubted my credibility. She said, Uncle, whatever uncle says always happens. I have seen it happen. My wife sees it happen. Shirdi Baba approves that all that I say will happen. Several individuals' lives I have seen. I see homes where Ambal is walking like a tiny little Sushma Rupa. I see where Sri Charana is walking with an unknown shape. How do I see? I can feel. I can feel and talk. That is why Rajarajan's story, Varahi Ammana introduced. To this day, nobody knows. Mr. Iyengar says, we don't know who that person is. That is Ambar. That is Varahi Amman, with whom you are developing a divine connection of late, recently. And therefore, Indira Kaur's story, she went on applying. She did even home jobs. She went and started cleaning homes. I said, you can do that. No job is demeaning. Uncle with 2 MBA degrees had gone and stood in a toy store in Columbus and sold toys and made the toy department the best department in just 24 hours. The director came and said, how do you arrange these things? This is normal arrangement. Can you arrange the whole store like this? I said, yes, provided you make me the manager of the store. That was very difficult to accept. I said it immediately without even batting an eyelid. And he said, you appear to be, yes, I have MBA degrees from India and the United States. I'm looking for a World Bank job. I'll do one or two more weeks and then I'll go. So, you've got to understand, if you follow the footsteps of Ambal like she is doing, if you look up like the dream of Indra, nothing will go wrong. Nothing will go wrong. Ron is a good example. He shifted to Louisville. He wants to buy a new car. He will buy because he is looking at all the Teslas. He doesn't know there is no engine in the Tesla. He loves Tesla, the shape and the curve and all that. His wants are many. He has got a list. Ron is smiling. In the process, Ron does an excellent job. He's a very good IT man. I know that personally because somebody who works with Ron, who plays cricket with him, is also known to me. He says, Ron is a very good cricketer, a very good corporate individual. Very soon he will get another big job. He wants to come to settle down in Irving. Where in Irving? I said, in South Haven. There is no place in South Haven. There is a place in South Heaven. You can apply for it. Or maybe West Haven. वहाँ पे भी नहीं है जगह. Housing starts are very poor in this country, one of the leading indicators. So the used cars, used homes are selling at very high premium these days. Mortgage interest rate goes from hovered up to 6.1. Believe me, it is no longer 2.9, 3.2, 6.1. As one person here knows. He had to die. I told him, don't pay 6.1, don't buy the home until it becomes 4.3. He got 4.3. When it is ordered by Shirdi Baba, it happens. And therefore, after losing the job, she went on applying. I said, apply to NASA. NASA's deputy director, vice president job, senior director's job is there. You richly deserve, because you have done such nice work in finding the code. You will one day crack the code that you are writing, and it's going to happen. And she's working on the code. 1 month back, she got a job at NASA in Baltimore. Give her a big hand. 8 years she was suffering in Canada on the Canadian soil. No money. With a weakened Canadian dollar, she couldn't survive. With a strong American dollar, with inflation attached to it nowadays, she came here and she has gotten a very big job. And in the interview, they said, you are one of the very few persons in the world who is doing this code. She corrected him, saying that I am the only person. She has become very, I am the only person. If you are doing the same code, I was not aware of it. I liked her. That is how you should do the interview. That's how I train people to go and do interview. The two East Molin sisters know. Why I am saying is, you got to be very intelligent in IT business. Don't raise your hand if you are that brilliant person. Don't raise your hand. Raise your hand if you are inadequate working in IT area. In IT, you got to be very brilliant. 10 times as that of a doctor. Because IT is just bursting at the seams with innovations. A doctor does the same thing. Sometimes most doctors don't even treat. They treat only the symptoms. They don't treat the disease. About 76% of doctors do that. When you confront these doctors, that's how the medical schools taught us. We have got to do that. We have got a hippo or something, whatever it is, hippo, right? On the Bible. So, she joined this job. Very, very uproarious start. Just a month ago, when the East Moline sisters came all the way from Chicago Moline to DFW, they were very, very happy for two things. Their career was taking off in a way that they only experienced. One of the sisters got a job. The other thing is, Mama, every month, third Saturday, we can personally see you. They don't gain anything by personally seeing me, but that me, they mean the uncle here in the picture. And therefore, they personally see. They are right now in this hall, they are sitting straight in front of my uncle. And therefore, after losing the job, she's a very great devotee of Dasara's Durga Ma. She has sent me pictures. This is a very big story. You just can't forget these people. You just can't, stay away and not take part in their ups and downs, roller coaster of a life. For 8 years, no job. Can a PhD go on to do clean a home? It's like an MBA from India. I said the other day, go and stand in India Bazaar, and for a start you make, you know how to greet people, or Walmart, or go and stock, not in the night, daytime. Stock and make it the best Walmart. Like I made my bank the best in India. Make it the best Walmart. So the Elizabeth, Walton will come and see, Liz Walton will come and see, you are the best. You are promoted to manager. Wherever you do whatever you do, like you are following the footsteps, you got to be also a Tatya. Last time, my talk was incomplete on Das Ganu. Das Ganu, I'll talk first. He did not believe in Shirdi Baba. He thought God is somebody in his village dramas wherein he played lascivious, lewd, lavanid. Lavani is an Hindi word. Lavanid female role. He used to dance in the streets of Nanded villages near Shirdi in a female role. And then these are all lewd characters. And therefore, I need not tell you what kind of a story will it be. And this is the Das Ganu, which Baba said, I will bring him on my road. Even if he doesn't believe, I will see to it that someday he fulfills what I want. And Shirdi Baba wanted two things. To take him away from the Lavanis. Lavani is an abrupt. Das Ganu was very, very adept in finding out Lavanis, means lewd songs In Marathi, he will write and then sing it in a very lascivious style. Lascivious means lewd. Lewd means lascivious. Okay. If you don't know, go to m-w.com. Some people are operating like Ron, my American friend. He's always operating feverishly. Mama, this is the meaning of. He will tell me. But then he has to sit on Jyoti Garu's staircase. Here he cannot work because I'm watching him. Baba did several things. Das Ganu was very having lots of ahankar. The 6 enemies, the worst is ahankar, and then greed. Okay. And he would not fall a prey to Shirdi Baba. Several times he told, I am a sub-inspector. I want to become a Faujdar. Faujdar meaning, what is that? He was a constable, Faujdar is sub-inspector. Constable to sub-inspector he wanted to become so that he can lord over the village people. In those days, in the British Raj, 1890, 1895, if you are a sub-inspector, my God, people will give you food, people will give you dress, people will give you horses, money, 10 rupees. Every village 10 rupees. Oh my God. The teacher was getting paid 3 rupees a month. So you will become another Shirdi Baba, 400 rupees every month. So he was eyeing to become that. And Shirdi Baba could not this thing. He became a Havildar, assistant to Nana Chandorkar. Nana Chandorkar was deputy collector at that time in Nanded district, if you recollect, Sacharita. And he used to tell this fellow, Das Ganu, because he was his personal assistant, taking care of the deputy collector. He used to say that, come to Shirdi, listen to Shirdi Baba, ye lavani sabko chhod do. Turant chhod do. Don't heavily depend on this female role particularly. Baba wants to make something out of you. And Baba cannot be wrong. Chandorkar had become a very staunch devotee by then, by the time he became deputy collector. And therefore he used to come to Das Ganu, used to come to Shirdi. But then, in the book, Sri Narasimha Swami says in this paragraph, just like Nandanar, the so-called Harijan person, Shiva devotee, Nandanar used to tell all the Harijans, say Shiva, Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. All the Harijans, because Nandanar is saying, Nandanar had seen Shiva straight. And therefore, if Jyoti Garu has seen Varahi Amman straight, you will visit her every day, right? You won't allow her to conduct music classes. Every day she will touch her feet and then say, please get me this from Varahi Amman, get me that from Varahi Amman, get me that $300,000 Google job. I don't like Microsoft. So, yes, seen, and therefore, Nandana told all the Harijans all were saying, in the English book, Narasimha Swami uses a Tamil word, Solli Tolaikanam. Meaning, perforce I have to say. That's exactly the meaning, right? Solli Tolaikanam. So Nandanar's people were all saying that. Shiva we will say. Similarly, this fellow, Dasaganu, Solli Tolaikalam. This fellow is my boss, big boss. He's got a bigger horse than me. He's got a chota horse, Goda. So Goda pa baith ke, wo Shirdi aaye the. He came to Shirdi. And then he asked Das Ganu. Baba accosted him straight. Baba told him straight. Baba never used to be billing and cooing round the tree like, Telugu movies, Tamil movies. No billing, no MGR, no Saroja Devi, no. He says, leave all this lavani. If you leave the lavani, you will take one more step. And then he says, leave the police force. Leave the police force because this police force is not morally upright. This police force in the intellectual abilities that I want you to possess, police force is not the one. Because consciousness, morality, all these things were always questioned with the police people. I don't know about these days in India, but when I was living in India, all these things were not there in the police people. Very rarely though, in some people. And therefore, he said, Baba, I want to become a sub-inspector and then enjoy the great rights, might of being a sub-inspector for 1 year, and then I'll resign. Dekha jaye. In Hindi they say, Dekha jaye, baad mein dekhenge. And then Baba said, let me see how you will become a sub-inspector. He said, collar up karke, he said, I've already passed the departmental examination. These are all conversation in the book, Narasimha Swami's book. Okay. Said, I'll see that I become a sub-inspector. Baba told him, I'll create problem after problem, after problem, after problem, and see that you resign the job. By the time you are saying, Lavani ko to chodi diya. He left Lavanis and he started, that is where his mind. Take away all this thing threatening with all the iron rods and all that. He had a very big gang. He was very popular with the police force. जब जितना इंडिया में अभी हो रहा है with police force, it was happening then itself. The police force, he was there on the pay scale of Kanabil. Those who read every book on Shirdi Baba will find these things in a diary of a very famous devotee. Kanabil, he wanted to catch, and therefore he went to the village, and Kanabil is having conference with all his people. He has come to, people will give him anything he wants, food, clothing, gold, money, and therefore he was staying there, and then he was trying to go as a kirtankar in incognito, and then talking with all the children of the village. And the children, Kanabil was very popular with children. They say, "Uncle to udhar hai," so they showed. And then by the time he was doing the kirtan, Kanabil comes and then catches him by the collar. And then he says, "Arey bhaiya, Das Ganu, I know you are here to catch me. Don't even think about it. Oh, big commercial. Yeah, $1 million commercial. Don't even think about it. You cannot catch me. And I have killed the 3 constables you brought. I have killed all the 3. You are the one. I am going to kill you. But this time, because you got Lord Rama's picture, he was trying to act as if he's doing a kirtan. He's a kirtankar. And therefore he says, I'm leaving you this time. But then next time the story will be different. You will be a dead man next time when I come and catch you. Don't ever think of coming to this area to catch me, okay? If you want your life, want your job, go. And therefore he just does a Shashang Namaskar to Kanabil, it goes away. Kanabil goes that evening. But then the next day, Das Ganu, he wants a promotion, right? This time he wanted to get a promotion, but then he had to apologize to Kanabil. Next time, he is getting the help from the villagers and all that. And then he also reports to his boss, I'll somehow catch him. If I don't catch him, I'll resign. Whatever thoughts is going in you, Baba knows it, right? Sri Charana knows it. Narasimha Saraswati, when you go to Ganagapur, he will tell you, this is what you are thinking. When you go to that, what tree is that? Kalpavriksham, Chintamani Vinayagar, Vigneshwara. When you go there, he will tell you. Because he will be talking from the Pada, holy feet. Next time when he comes there with a big police force, he found out where Kanabil is there. A big fight erupts between police force and Kanabil. Kanabil's some people are dead, and then police force, all the police force of Das Ganu are getting killed except Das Ganu. Kanabil must be a man, he must be thinking, this fellow, Baba is trying to make him a very big devotee, and therefore, inko to zinda chhod de. We will make him, live. And therefore, he is left alone. He goes there. When he goes there, he goes on this thing, horseback. He is crossing on duty Shirdi and then going straight without seeing Shirdi. But this time, I don't want to see Shirdi Baba because he is going to kill me. All these things he must be knowing. But then Baba is taking the rounds, and then when the horse comes, he touches the horse stops. He said, get down. Did I not tell you, you want some more trouble? Then he says, who is the fellow? Baba says, who is that man who took Godavari waters and said, I'll never do this again, I'll resign from the police force if you save me now. I saved you. But you are not doing it. And therefore, again with Ahankar, Das Ganu says, I will do it, I'll become a Faujdar. Again he says, I'll become sub-inspector, and 1 year ke baad, I'm going to resign Baba anyway. Why are you unnecessarily worried? He got down from the horseback and therefore, okay, I'm going. He didn't even receive. Baba said, I have to inject him with a COVID-19 shot. He didn't say that. Equivalent thing he said. I know what he said. I have to give him a big shock. So next shock comes, the third one. Third attempt is the biggest difficulty. In a station where he's in charge, one day, Kulkarni, a village chief, sends $32, a fine paid by some gentleman in the village, and therefore the $32 is sent to that particular station, to the police force. It's an Akbari department, it's a sales tax. And when he is giving, the chief is on leave, and therefore Das Ganu and then his assistant are there. Das Ganu thinks, okay, I am the in charge of the station. He tells the assistant, you be in charge, let me go and take some rest. He goes home. When he goes home, the 32 rupees comes there. He gives it to Das Ganu's assistant without his knowledge, and therefore he says, he doesn't give a receipt to the person who came and handed over $32. He says, my chief is not there, and therefore we will send it straight to the village address. Leave the village address. Yeah, Tiklo. So he wrote and then left. He's a good man, he left. He pocketed 32 rupees. In those days, it's a huge money. And therefore, when an inquiry came after 1 month, when the audit was going on, it was found that 30 rupees was paid. There was enough proof. And then when they came and asked, Das Ganu was the chief, he was absconding, and therefore the assistant said, I don't know anything about it, Das Ganu is the chief at the station. And Das Ganu said, I was not there, and therefore it came to know that everybody came to know he had taken, and therefore Das Ganu was asked in the inquiry to step down. Either resign or you'll have to end up in jail. 2 options were given, he stepped down immediately. When you walk finding the footsteps of Shirdi Baba. Last lecture, follow the footprints of Shirdi Baba. I told 4 or 5 examples. When you do that, you got to be a little careful. You got to know who are the people. Like for instance, in the mission I am running, you got to be careful as to who are all the people in the mission. What are all the activities these people are doing? I cannot do a CAA activity, right? It is not my intention at all. I am concentrating on all these things and the dharmic road, right? Like the dharmic spiritual road. I am a spiritual guide. I am not a Sadguru. Some people may think Mama has got as many siddhis as Shirdi Baba. That is not true. I may have some. But whenever I say something, Baba fulfills all those things immediately. And I know Baba is fulfilling. When Baba cannot fulfill, he will tell me. And therefore, this fellow resigned. And then Lavani ko chhod diya, he left the police department. And Das Ganu, as you know, who lived to be 103 years old, now emerged. The bad black Das Ganu left. Like Sripada Srivallabha, the black figure was burnt by Shirdi Baba. That is what he is doing with each and every devotee. That is what he is trying to make out of each and every one of you who comes to the satsang. To glorify your personality, to walk you and then try to make you achieve what you don't know you are capable of achieving. He will give you lots of traits that your boss will like. You will become very capable in the organization. Your chief will come and praise you from India or from California. And many promotions will come, like it's happening to several people in Houston, Austin, and New York City. Several people are getting promoted. They all did their job. They all sought Shirdi Baba and therefore did a very fine, splendid job. When these things are going, is it about an hour? Yeah, 7:50, 52, exactly 1 hour. I cannot talk much today, but then I started with the Tatya. In the history of Sai literature, there is hardly anybody like Tatya Koti Patil. In the entire history of Shirdi Baba, when you read, Tatya was the only one who had the liberty to get angry, to differ with Shirdi Baba. He can just walk out of Dwarakamayi and said, Bao, brother, I am not coming. Uncle, I am not coming here anymore. You are not God. He is the only one who said that. Twice in his life he said that. And then Bayajama had to come. Dikshit had to come and convince him. Otherwise, Shirdi Baba used to join the procession every other day to Shavadi. Not wearing only a torn clothes. He didn't like. There were king's clothes presented by Raja Chola. It was Tatya who said, please wear it, and he will put it on, and Baba would not utter a single word. It was Tatya who forced him to have a good bed, 64 sheets in Dwarakamayi, in Shavadi. It was Tatya's financial condition that Shirdi Baba was really, really sorry about and did something immediately. Because his father was sick for 3 years. And that is the time when he was 5-6 years old and father died. Can I stop here? We will talk about Tatya some other time. How many people want me to stop? I am the only one. I want to stop here because of my throat. Yeah. Yeah. No, next time is for your topic. How to become an Ankita child. That is a research I started. I'll get a PhD and then come before you and explain the dissertation. Okay, Tatya, about Tatya. This much can be said. After the death of his father, they didn't have any wherewithal. Bayajama had to go without food. She used to walk without chappals, without shoes, into the forest at 12:30 in the afternoon, just taking the food for Shirdi Baba. Sometimes she will never be able to find out, and therefore she will go and wait at a particular tree. She will wait without taking food. After giving food to Shirdi Baba, her own son, her two sons, Tatya and Shirdi Baba, and then she will come back. Baba thought about it. No one else has done this to me. Baba thought about Bayajama. Never mind, some books will say Vayajama, W, it's Bayajama. Baba thought, this is an exemplary woman, and therefore he adopted her as the stepmother, a mother, real mother later on. And she used to come, he promised that I'll never go out into the jungle, you can bring the food at 12:30 every day to the Dwarakamayi, we will all eat together, bring Tatya also. One day Tatya was not there, Baba was asking, how come Tatya is not here? He was told that Tatya has gone into the jungle to cut wood. There is not much money, only if he cuts wood and then sell it, they can eat a square meal every day. And therefore, Baba was moved very much, he wanted to do something. What he did, that something and all that, I'll continue in the next third Saturday. A very classic story of how Tatya Kote Patil, Baba even gave the life later on Vijayadashmi Day, 1918, October 15th. He gave his life to Tatya. Tatya was sick and he got better and Shirdi Baba passed away. Tatya lived 27 years more and he passed away in 1945. I know the date, but it's not important. 1945 he passed away. He didn't live as long as his Das Ganu. Das Ganu lost his wife Saraswati. There was no children. Das Ganu reportedly adopted a son much later in his life. When Narasimha Swami was writing the book in Chennai about Das Ganu, he was still living. He was 56 years old. He did Baba's work and he crossed 100 years. He went on doing it. A very great soul. There was hardly any moment of thinking about his wife. He was mentally challenged. And Baba and another devotee literally came, physically helped her and then stabilized her until she lived. Das Ganu was removed to villages doing all the Kirtankar's work about Shirdi Baba and all the Marathi Sadgurus. He did that the whole year, but then Tatya's service was very, very different. Tatya had to cut wood and he had several experiences. He was paid by Shirdi Baba 1 rupee and 2 rupees. He used to carry it in his head. Baba used to go as a simple man into the forest and then buy the whole wood. And then one day he took both of them into their home. You know their home. Just go past, cottage, where Abdul Baba's great-grandson is sitting there. Even today you go there, make a round, there is a flag, that is Bayajama's home. This time we went there. It has gone out of shape, I'm sorry to say. There are so many flats above Bayajama's home. So many clothes are hanging, clotheslines everywhere. And then, unless you see the big lock in front of Bayajama's home, you won't find it. There's a small invisible board that says this is where Bayajama lived. People tend to forget the greatness of Bayajama and Tatya. By constantly telling people in my satsangs about Bayajama and Tatya and of course Das Ganu. When I took you to Pandharpur the other day, 2 months ago, I also mentioned Das Ganu's final remains were interred in Chandrabhaga River, banks of Chandrabhaga River. He is there in Pandharpur. He wanted his human remains to be buried at Pandharpur. He was a very great man. Never seen school. Just the police force. Look how Baba converted. So never get disheartened. Look at the Canadian devotee, Indira Kaur. Her PhD was recognized, right? She is working for NASA. She is in a good position. That's what's come to you. Another PhD in West Coast. For several years, she didn't get a job. And then one fine morning, she was appointed. All these things he can do, and therefore we will see more and more. And again, have a very healthy new year, very purposeful new year where you do lots of good things to your colleagues and to your bosses, and then do an excellent job. You may do 2 jobs, you may do 3 jobs. Do excellent work in all the 3 jobs. I know Professor will go and find out, our host will find out the glaucoma medication. That also will happen because he is traveling on the road. Come May, he will be in a very big, May, June, he will be in a very big conference. That conference will unravel several things to him, thanks to his chance meeting with another research scholar doing the same job. आप तो जानते हैं. I mentioned her name. So, Baba reveals all the opportunities. He keeps on giving you all the opportunities. All the mighty grants are, at beck and call at your doorstep. You have to find that pill and help all the people who develop glaucoma, because eyesight is very important to human beings, right? Like hearing faculty, eyesight, like heart, lungs, like your intellect, like your frontal cortex. They are very important. So I seek Baba's and Varahi Amman's blessings for the house, Raghu Mama and his wife, and then their son who is doing an advanced degree, Vignesh. I'm very proud of him because he's going to leap 100 times ahead of his own dad. His research work will be getting several rewards pretty soon. And with that, we will start the puja. Om Sri Sai, when you are ready, let me know. அவரோட சத்சங் பண்ணும்போது அதனால தான் சொல்கிறேன், டெய்லி ஒரு சத்சங் பண்ணோம், கோல்டெல்லாம் சரி பறந்து போயிடும். It's a very mighty God. About Shirdi Baba, I can share with you my personal experiences and all the dreams that my wife is getting. You will be thrilled. You will be thrilled. Only on the 30th, one day before New Year, she had a dream. She was hugging Shirdi Baba in the dream. And then Shirdi Baba, when she hugged, he became a Shivalinga. She was hugging a Shivalinga. That's a dream. I have several personal experiences. Some of them are unbelievable, but they are unbelievably true. That is why I want so many people to come to this puja and do the puja. Your karma account will be increasing. By doing 2 IT jobs, you want your Chase Bank or Bank of America account to grow. But this punya account, in Brahmalok, there is a bank. There will be improving, increasing. Do that simultaneously. When you do that, you will know the difference. Like the email, my email stopped. Quote. You will know the difference. Not necessarily through daily miracles. You will know the difference. Once a month, once a week, you will do miracle, big miracle, outstanding miracles. People who are blindly following his footsteps, like 4 or 5 persons in that great city, Houston, they find glory. One person is catapulted into 4 senior jobs, 4 interviews. All the 4 interviews, the person devotee did extremely well. Her only confusion today is she sent an email, Mama, what happens if I get all the 4 jobs? The East Moline sisters are saying, Mama, get us also 4 jobs. You got 1 job, you are getting the second. She is going to get 4 jobs. They're all directors level. She is listening to the satsang. All directors, not senior VP, VP, director, cloud director. There is a person from Houston who is already a director, senior director, sitting here. These are very effective people. People who don't mince any words. When they understand things, they do things quickly. That is why IT wants more intelligent people. In the IT interviews, people judge you even from the first second. And all the IT interviews in this country are done by bosses who hailed from India, like TCS. He's a big boss. He's controlling so many people. 2,000 people he addressed. How is it possible? 2 persons or 2,000 persons, it doesn't matter to him. He does the same language, he does the same quickness, alacrity. He did that 2 weeks ago. And he gathered in his Punya bank. Recently he did a great Punya, an act of greatest Punya, by saving those 2 girls, taking them to India, you and your wife. Your Punya account has gone, crossed all the limits. That bank manager will write to you, CEO will write to you. We will open a capital assets account for you, sir. You are in the capital group. Why don't you get a CD for the 1 million Punya coins? 1 million Punya coins for 2 CD accounts. They are going to contact him. This is what happens. When your Punya account goes up, several miracles will happen in your life. There is a connection, ubiquitous connection between these two. Let us start the puja. Om Sri Sai. Amita Parakramaya Namaha. That is not the first sloka, but that is a very powerful sloka. Amita Parakramaya Namaha. I know you know the meaning. The one with enormous powers to do anything you want. Om Sri Sai, Sri Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Sri Lakshmi Narayana Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Krishna Rama Siva Maruti Yati Rupaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Godavari Tata Shiladivasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Bhakta Hridayalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Sarva Hridayavasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Budavasaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Sarva Hridayavasine Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Buddha Bhavishya Pava Varjitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Kalatitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Kalaya Namaha. Kala Kalaya Namaha. Kala Darpadamanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Kala Darpadamanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Mrutyunjayaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Amartyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Martya Abhaya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Bhaktavana Samartaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Jivadaryaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Sarvadaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Bhaktavana Pradiknyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Annavastradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Arogya Shemadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Dhanamangalya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Dhanamangalya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Riddhi Siddhidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Putra Mitra Kalatra Bandhudaya Namaha. Yoga Shema Vahaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Apat Bandhavaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Marga Bandhave Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Bhukti Mukti Swarga Pavargadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Priyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Priyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Priyaya Namaha. Priti Vardhanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai, Antaryamine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sachidatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Nityanandaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramasughataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Parameshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Paramatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Swarupine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jagadapitraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaktanam Matrudatru Pitamahaya Namaha. Bhakta Abhaya Pradaya Namaha. Bhakta Paradinaya Namaha. Bhakta Anugraha Kataraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Saranagadavatsalaya Namaha. Bhakti Sakti Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Vairagyadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Prema Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samshaya Hridaya Daurbalya Papa Karma Vasana Chayakaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Hridaya Granthi Bedagaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Karmadvamsine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sutta Sasvastidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Gunadita Gunatmane Namaha. Om Sri Sai Gunadita Gunatmane Namaha. Ananta Kalyana Gunaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amita Parakramaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jayine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jayine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Durdarsha Shobhaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Aparajitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Trilekeshu Avigata Gataye Namaha. Asakya Rahidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvasakti Murtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Swarupa Sundaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sulokshanaya Namaha. Bhagiruba Vishwamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhagiruba Vishwamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Arubhavyaktaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Ashintaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sushmaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sushmaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvantaryamine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvantaryamine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Manovagatitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Prema Murtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Prema Murtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sulabha Durlabhaya Namaha. Asahaya Sahayaya Namaha. Anatanata Dina Bandave Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Bharaptute Namaha. Akarmaneka Karma Sukarmine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Punya Shravana Kirtanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Tirthaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Vasudevaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satam Gataye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satparayanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Loganathaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Pavana Nagaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhavana Nagaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amrutamsave Namaha. Om Sri Sai Amrutamsave Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaskara Prabhaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Brahmacharya Tapasaryadi Suvrataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satya Dharma Parayanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddheshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddha Shankalpaya Namaha. Yogeshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhagavate Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhaktavatsalaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Satpurushaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Purushottamaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Purushottamaya Namaha. Satyadattva Bodhagaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kamadi Sadvairidvamsine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Apedanandanubhava Pradaya Namaha. Samasarva Mata Sammataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Dakshanamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Venkatesa Ramanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Venkatesa Ramanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Venkatesa Ramanaya Namaha. Atpudananda Sharyaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Pravannarthi Haraya Namaha. Samsara Sarva Dukkha Chayakaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samsara Sarva Dukkha Chayakaraya Namaha. Samsara Sarva Dukkha Chayakaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvavid Sarvatomukaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvantar Bhahistidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Mangalagaraya 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 Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvabhishta Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvantar Bhahistidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samarasa Shanmargastapanaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samartha Sadguru Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samartha Sadguru Sai Nadaya Namaha. Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sri Anantakoti Brahmanda Nayaga Rajadi Raja Yogi Raja Brahma Maharaj ki jai. Sri Sainath Maharaj ki jai.
साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सद्गुरु साई नमो नमः।
ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो